The primordial void, shifting between possibility and reality, expanding and contracting, is known as that which precedes creation, the Great Mother, the divine breath of the universe. During this process of expansion and contraction, two forms developed. One was yielding, and the other was outward moving. At a specific point, these two forms collided in a flash of cosmic light, and so began creation. 116 billion humans have experienced this Genesis creation in the wombs of their mothers from the beginning, each formed in a flash of cosmic union between egg and sperm, between yin and yang, each being having, etched in their very DNA, this experience. This was and is the ever-continued play between the Great Mother and the Creator we know from Genesis. It heralds the movement from one with the universe to one apart from the universal whole. A process of differentiation that occurs from the cellular level to complete self-awareness. It is in this moment of union that the universe ceased its onness to become the 10,000 things of self-aware perception. Following fertilization, cell division occurs, increasing from 1 to 2 cells, then to 4, and continue over the course of 9 months. The cells undergo differentiation and gradually become specialized for various functions. This compartmentalized and specialization lead to the creation of the I Am, the self-proclaimed maker and head to this creation. Happy in its role of having dominion overall yet safe in its floating Garden of Eden, the great loving womb of the Great Mother. Safe in the womb, this Garden of Eden, a place of nurturing love, all needs met, wanting nothing, the child grows in oneness and bliss. But as fate has it, this bliss will come to a violent and painful end with its expulsion from the garden. Birth is not a pleasant thing for a child. It feels violent and stressful. Contractions, squeezing, having to breathe, feeling the full weight of gravity pinning one to the ground, cold, loud, and alone. When the cord connecting the child to the mother is cut, that is the end of the garden and the beginning of the longing for return that is an archetype of human existence. Upon expulsion, the child experiences a full separation from the Great Mother and is instantly aware of heat, cold, gravity pulling down, holding it firmly to the hardness of the world. A sudden cry, not verbal, but rather an expression of the child's awareness of isolation, emerges from the child who remains unaware of the cause. The mother embraces her baby, preparing for what is ahead. This event, this sudden move from one with to one separate from, forms a divide from goddess to god. At this point, the goddess who embraced you in blissful unity is now replaced by a compassionate God who is believed to exist beyond yourself, somewhere imagined above. This transition is a time of rapid growth and self-development. Without language, thoughts are feelings not descriptive but experienced. Stored in the non-verbal depths of the soul, real, true, and powerful. Over time, needs and wants stop being just internal sensations. They begin to require expression first through cries and other cues, laying the foundation for an instinctive bond between children and their parents before language develops. With brain development and a clearer sense of self, people shift from earlier forms of communication to using symbolic sounds to represent objects, which eventually leads to language acquisition. There is a great price paid with the transition from intuitive oneness to that of self-exploring this thing called world. How do we live in a world filled with 10,000 things requiring perception, analysis, storage, and recalling, while maintaining a sense of onness and intuitive divine connection to the Great Mother? The great price lies in the reliance on interpreting all perception with language and trusting an organ locked in a bone cell that never actually experiences anything directly. It has at its heart a level of confidence and distrust of input it analyzes, often requiring additional proof before rendering a response. For instance, the eye observes a table constructed from wood. It first scans its records to define the object as a table, then by looking at it declares it wood. Some doubt may remain, so the hand reaches touch and confirms its texture. Again the files are searched, and a consensus of perception declares it a wooden table. At the same time, countless pieces of sensory information are continually collected, examined, and ranked according to their relevance. Temperature, lights, peripheral data, Way too many things to list, but no, there is a lot going on in there. It is easy to see why subtle nonverbal cues, like current nonverbal experiences, are often ignored and relegated to a fuzzy corner of our thoughts. The formation of language is the tree of knowledge, which once explored breaks for most people forever the goddess connection of direct experience with the divine. It creates a processing and storage system for all life's experiences. We take in light, sight, touch, taste, and sound first-hand through our senses. Afterward, we think about them, put them into words, and organize them within our minds. This process of experiencing life is faulty in relation to time. Sensory input is experienced historically, creating an inherent gap between direct immediate experience and analyzed reflection. A time gap that leaves one never quite present in the moment, always looking ahead, but living in the past. Apart from this mind-centered way of living, there is self that has direct knowledge of living in the universe, not viewing it through the senses, and examining it within the locked bone box of the skull. Herein lies the central issue. A person builds this great network of neurons able to process internal and external data points at light, like speeds, and turn them into understandable points of perception, linking them together to form a tapestry of experience we call life. It can identify and discard irrelevant information or store it if needed. While mind is busy sorting all this out and regulating life functions, those old direct experiences formed in uterine development become harder to retrieve through the circuitry of mind. As a result, the person experiences an intense but indescribable sense that something lies beyond, a missing link, faint and elusive memories, lacking clear words or definitions. Experiences are strong and real, but hard to put your finger on. A possible longing to return to the garden, to once again float without need or worry in the womb of the Great Mother. A place or time when everything was whole and good. Childhood memories of towering giants lifting us have faded, leaving only hands raised in prayer toward the sky. Those we cried to and were comforted by. Those with loud voices that commanded behavior or quietly soothed away our fears. All formed in the collective as supernatural beings, creators, comforters, destroyers, etc. These archetypes form the verbal expressions of times and memories that cannot be experienced through words, but only felt. For good or bad, that is the cost of expulsion from the garden and the curse of having dominion over all. We are the constant gardeners of a garden of illusion far removed from the divine innocence of our creation. How then can a person find peace within this dynamic of not being present in life through the illusion of mind, with the direct present moment, living of nonverbal mindfulness? Zen teachers of old called it looking for the ball. It is a way of taming the insecurity of the mind by quietly and mindfully resting the mind. Not suppressing thought, but by just allowing thought to move through the mind like clouds across the sky. One needs to befriend that wild organ and gain its trust, accepting its nature, but giving yourself over also to direct in the moment, mindful living without all the mind chatter of definition, analysis, storage, and retrieval. This is just one of many ways to approach a return to original self and onness with the present. Find a path that suits your nature and take it. Remember, the long journey starts with a step. Take the step and keep on going. Being able to live present and in the present is the only way one can live life as it comes. Not in the future and not in the past, but now. It is how we were designed. It was how we are one with the universe, walking in the world, not on it. We are not bound by the fall from the garden or need to be deceived by the illusion of the tree of knowledge. We have free will and the ability to choose to preserve our own divinity. We can get back to the garden. I had a thought today about the Christian idea of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and how it represents these ideas. The Father is the universe, that is to say, the Godhead as defined by the language mind of man. It is creator and originator of all, or in this sense, all that can be spoken. The Son is the physical manifestation, that which is created in the image of the Godhead. The Holy Spirit is the intuitive spirit that experiences life directly and in the moment. This spirit predates creation. It existed before the word and is indescribable by language. This may well be why Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew states that going away from the Holy Spirit is the only sin that God will not forgive. It is the Holy Spirit that in this context connects us with our divinity. It is the only part of the Trinity that has direct unfiltered experience, and that predates the I am of human consciousness. It is what a Buddhist might describe as the face before you were born. Ponder this deeply, and you'll understand what it means to be born again in spirit.